Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Taurus energy. And for this round, I am using the Kipper deck. So we're going to get a few of these cards out and get some clarifiers on it to see what's going on in Taurus energy. And people have free will, and we have our dualistic nature, so we can either align with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, forgive ourselves from past mistakes, let the past go, offer love and compassion to the fact that everybody is where they were at, and we let it go, and we have hope and faith and belief that we can manifest our dreams into reality. And other people might harness more shadowy Taurus energy. They might have gotten kicked up into their pride, their ego, their emotional defensiveness. They haven't maybe dealt and put in time, energy, and effort to deal with their past pain and heartbreak. And so those issues or fears are still driving the decisions they make in their life, or maybe they just haven't learned how to love themselves or believe in themselves. But we'll just see what the story comes out, and we'll get some clarifiers to fill it out. We have despair, marriage, concern. So some people, marriage for everybody doesn't have to mean a marriage. It could just be what they aligned with and made a commitment to, and that can even be Taurus energy is about our underlying philosophy of life. Is it love or is it things of the world? Is it more about image and status and money and materialism? What are we married to within ourselves? Some people could have regret that they aligned with their more, maybe the concern card could be their more fearful nature. So then we have toil and labor, or no, occupation, house, thief, and gift. And the reason for the reading is change. When we experience emotional disappointment about things that we did want to align with in life, we either can get caught up in our mind about it and we're fearful of moving forward, fearful of change because we're afraid it could happen again, or we put in work and effort within our own foundation to not let negative energy of the world steal from us, not staying in our fear and our insecurity or our ego and our defensiveness. And we accept the gift of being willing to change. And so the change card is represented also by the number 5 in tarot. So like the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, the 5 of Wands. We can have a lot of mental conflict. We can get in our ego. We can be going back and forth, like, should I do that? Should I do this? Should I let those relationships go? Should I move forward in my life? Should I think the way I've always thought? Or should I be willing to expand my perception of myself and the world around me and what's possible? Are we willing to put work and effort into our foundation? Because if we don't put work and effort into our own foundation and try to gain insight and wisdom about the past, negative energy is going to stop us from our divine inheritance that we deserve. And we deserve to not be in sadness and regret and despair and fear and insecurity. We are meant to, out of an energy of love, deal with our fears and put work and effort into our foundation so that our fearful, insecure, prideful, egotistical, immature, indulgent nature doesn't keep us, and other people who harness that energy don't keep us from the gifts that we deserve to have in our life. And we're willing to change. So let's get some clarifiers on it. Tell us about the despair card. I see something here. There could have been people who do operate more from pride and ego, and they weren't willing to put work and effort into a foundation, so it could have ended. You know, when people are in a relationship, they have free will. They can choose free willingly to be open and honest and loving and put work and effort into understanding how their own fear and emotional defensiveness and self-centered ways of being stop them from accepting the gift of love and being willing to change. And when people don't choose to be open and honest and loving and do that work, they're taking a risk to maybe hope that if they are stubborn and kind of prideful in their ego not to do those things, that the people in their life will be in regret and they will be willing to stay in a relationship with someone who is kind of stealing from them, who isn't willing to put in work and effort to align with love. And they're hoping and taking a risk that if I operate out of defensiveness because I don't want to deal with my own issues or whatever, that the people I kind of reject will be sad and they'll be willing to stay in a relationship here with me. And they'll also reject putting in work and effort to believe in their dreams of relationships that are just and fair and open and honest and authentic and loving. And they'll settle for being in a relationship with me out of their own fear and insecurity. But for some of those people, that didn't work out. And the people they took a risk with to be in their more prideful, egotistical nature than loving, hopeful, believing nature, the other people aligned with love, and they put work and effort to offer love to their own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs to change. And now the people who weren't willing to do that work are concerned, because the people they thought they could manipulate by not being loving have changed and they can't manipulate them anymore. So now what are they going to do? Are they going to try to steal from someone else and repeat this pattern again with someone else? And the same thing could happen again. If they're not willing to do the work within themselves to be just and fair and loving, it'll just be repeating the same old pattern. You know, it's kind of like nothing will change. It's like, what's that saying? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. That's the definition of insanity. Tell us about the regret in the marriage card. The High Priestess, the Moon, the Six of Swords, the Aquarius star energy, and the Four of Pentacles because of the Hangman. Some people were secretly hiding that they wanted to move forward. Their dream relationship is where they move forward more in pride and ego and holding back from people, not working together with people cooperatively, holding on to the old ways of being, not willing to learn and grow and mature themselves. That was their dream of how they wanted to live their life and be in relationship with other people. So when they got in relationship with people who listened to their intuition to guide them, who put in work and effort within themselves to deal with their own self-limiting beliefs and fears and insecurities so that they can move forward in truth because they've seen life from a higher perspective and they have hope and faith and belief that they can manifest loving relationships and things into existence. This person held back from them and operated in pride and ego, unwilling to see themselves and the world around them from a different perspective, like to change their perspective on life, not making it about ego or image or self-centeredness or self-protectiveness or whatever, and to make it about love. And they held back from those people. And they thought if they held back that maybe the other people would hold back from believing in their dreams and would cling on to them out of their own fear and insecurity. But that didn't happen. Tell us about the people who put work in. Some people put work and effort into a foundation, offering love to it, to encourage people to move forward, and other people put work and effort into being kind of selfish with people who are offering them love. Kind of, I'll take, you give. That could be some people's idea of a relationship. You give, I take. Tell us about the people who put work and effort into their foundation in a positive way. And who put work and effort into their relationships with others. Temperance energy, Sagittarius energy, because of Four of Wands. Temperance is Sagittarius energy, which is fire sign energy, which is about taking bold, creative action in your life and in your foundations and within yourself. Being bold and brave and confident. Four of Wands is Aries energy of being bold and brave and confident. You know, some people were very patient in a foundation, and they tried, as they put work and effort within themselves to overcome their own self-limiting beliefs and lack of self-esteem or fear and insecurities or whatever, they were also trying to maintain balance and harmony in a foundation, and they were willing to put work and effort into doing that to try to maintain balance within themselves and in the relationships that they were in. And they were also being patient and educating themselves, trying to wrap their brain around something that was emotionally confusing. Tell us about the Thief card. Ten of Wands. Oh, I have two decks combined. The Ten of Wands and the Ten of Wands. Somebody was really overwhelmed. And the Eight of Cups and the Three of Swords because of the Judgment card. In order for people to move forward in life and not keep repeating patterns of the past, they really... Ten of Wands is also Sagittarius energy. They would, in the Judgment card, they would have to be willing to hold themselves accountable. You know, we all have to hold ourselves accountable. Well, I guess, or we don't. You know, so that, and we have to take that bold, creative, inspired action. You know, the tens in tarot can talk about the end of a cycle. There's 4 suits in the deck, and they go from like 1 to 10. And then they have like the page and the knight and the queen and the king. You know, we either are willing to give it everything we've got to complete a cycle, to have that new beginning, to get that new Ace of Wands, to take that new inspired action. And part of that new inspired action is that in the Eight of Cups, we have to walk away from old ways of being and ways of perceiving ourselves in the world and aspects of our ego nature and our immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy, self-centered nature in order to get justice and balance in our life, to be balanced between our mind and our heart. But some people could have really been overwhelmed at the thought of either being held accountable for their actions because they do, I don't know, might feel pretty proud of themselves, maybe think they know how life should be done, or very egotistical. And the Eight of Cups walks away from the Seven of Cups for some of them. Maybe they'd have to walk away from a Scorpio in their life, or indulging themselves emotionally, or just walk away from their illusions of what they thought was okay, of how to act in the world and in relationships. You know, that can be kind of an illusion. We can all want to act whatever way we want to act in a relationship. But if we want to work together with people and be in a relationship, you know, we're not supposed to be operating from pride and ego and selfishness. We're supposed to get over ourselves, of our illusions that we should be able to act that way. And we're supposed to be more balanced and just. The Three of Swords is Libra energy. We're supposed to temper our more prideful, egotistical, self-centered, indulgent, immature nature and grow up and mature ourselves if we want to work together with other people and expect other people to want to work with us. We're supposed to treat other people the way we like to be treated. And some people are like, I don't want to hold myself accountable. Instead, that's overwhelming. I'd really have to change my whole philosophy of life. I think instead, I'll walk away and make a decision more from my mind than my heart. I think that's just and fair. And we all take action in life at any given moment. We all justify why we do what we do. And some people could be overwhelmed at the thought of change. Walking away from old ways of being and making decisions that are more ego-based or image-based or selfish or materialistically based, and being more just and fair in relationships. Some people, that's not their dream relationship. That's not what inspires and motivates them. And maybe if they're in thief energy, that could mean that their pride and their egos running their life and their fear and insecurities. And, why would we align with our more fearful, insecure, emotionally defensive nature? Because it makes us feel like it keeps us safe. If we stay in our fear and insecurity of what the future could be if we were to step outside of our comfort zone, if we stay in our fear and insecurity, well, then guess what? We don't have to change. We don't have to step outside of our comfort zone. If we're not ready to walk away from old ways of being, we'll keep staying and make a decision in the judgment card to keep repeating patterns of the past and keep being motivated, inspired to keep repeating patterns of the past until we are willing to learn the lessons we're meant to learn from that, to love ourselves and believe ourselves and offset our more fearful, insecure nature with love and hope and faith and compassion and forgiveness so that we can be more bold and brave in our life, and maybe to educate ourselves, and try to see life from a different perspective. Some people that were in shadowy energy have some regrets about the past that they would have to deal with. And they'd have to start listening to their intuition about their fears and insecurities, because the moon card can talk about fears and insecurities. Some people in the despair card have a lot of fears emotionally about working together with people because they've been left to regret in the past. And they hide their fears that they have about love and about being more authentic and vulnerable and loving and truthful and authentic in a relationship. They could be someone. The moon card can talk about people who keep their emotions buried beneath the surface and keep a lot of things buried beneath the surface that they just don't deal with. And they think, you know what? The best idea is to just keep moving forward, making my life maybe about holding back from people, not investing in people, being stubborn, making my life maybe more about money and materialism. And maybe if I have money and materialism or whatever, other people will want to be in a relationship with me and they'll cling on to me because of those things of the world that I have that make me look successful, and I can keep operating from pride and ego and defensiveness. And if they got in relationships with people who aren't willing to abandon their dreams of being in loving, just, and fair relationships, it could have been really overwhelming to the people who don't live their life that way to be in a relationship with someone like that. It's just like, oh my gosh, you are like the complete opposite of how the type of relationship I thought I was going to be in, And sometimes people will take some really creative action, maybe multiple times, and distance themselves from people in their life who want them to be more just and fair and balanced. And they could think, I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart to protect myself because I'm not ready to be bold and brave and confident. And if I kind of take these kind of impulsive, reckless action and kind of distance myself emotionally, maybe the person I'm in a relationship will be heartbroken. And maybe instead of moving forward and believing in themselves, they'll come back and be willing to be in a relationship with me and decide to do things my way. And for some of them, that might have happened. For others, they listened to their intuition and they said, this isn't love. This person has a lot of fears and insecurities they need to deal with. They're acting in unloving, kind of manipulative actions, or they're not ready. They don't want to change. They want to keep doing life the way they've done it. You know, Taurus energy can be very stubborn and prideful. And for any of us, Taurus also represents, if I didn't mention it already, kind of our general philosophy of life and relationships and what's valuable in the world and what's not valuable in the world. And some people are all about conforming to the world, and it's not about stepping outside of societal norms. It's, you know, conforming to whatever society says is the in thing now. And if that's for some people to make their life all about money and materialism, that's what they do. If it's, oh, I'm in a position in my life, the way I think the world views me and my position is I should be able to act out of pride and ego. And they conform to that. You know, they think it'll work out that way. But other people don't view life that way. And they balanced out their strong emotions and they put in work and effort to educate themselves, to be bold and brave and confident, to not make decisions out of codependency or fear or insecurity. And those people offered love to their own shadow nature so that they could change and keep moving forward, believing in themselves. Told us about the gift. And while they were doing that, they were probably trying to encourage other people in their life to be bold and brave and confident and have hope and faith and belief in others and have hope and faith and belief in themselves, to make decisions more out of love instead of out of defensiveness or ego. Or trying to manipulate people to do what they want instead of love to encourage people to do what they want. The Judgment card, the Page of Wands, and the Sun energy. Because of the Two of Wands. The loving people in the world called judgment on people who are being immature and acting out of pride and ego. Because that's their dream. And it's like, if that's what your dream is, that's fine. But judgment is kind of like the end of the trial. I have seen all the evidence has been presented. I have seen the truth. If that's your truth and how you want to live your life, I wish you peace. That is not my dream. The Two of Wands is about imagining what life can be. And if that's their idea of life, is to kind of be immature and operate from pride and ego, or maybe think I'll just go get in a relationship with someone else who I can take from and be prideful and stubborn with and hold back from and not really open up and give to, well, then that's your dream relationship. You go get it. I accept it. But me, I'm tapping into my more inner, youthful, hopeful, believing inner child nature. I'm not giving up on my dreams, and I am going to stay in life-giving energy of high vibe sun energy. You know, I'm going to stay positive and hopeful and love and encourage myself every day. I'm basically going to give myself everything you weren't willing to give me. All the things I tried to give you that you basically rejected, I'm going to give them to myself. And I'm going to heal from this past pain and heartbreak. I'm going to see life from a different perspective and what I believe is possible. And I'm going to have new beginnings in my life. I am willing to change. And the other people have a lot of mental conflict about change. Tell us about the Change card. And because they weren't able to manipulate you, they could be in regret about the relationships that they tried to manipulate and steal from. And now they're maybe concerned about who is going to work in their foundation with them. You know, the Sun also talks about when people get in relationship and then one person kind of operates from pride and ego, but of course they don't want people to know that they were kind of manipulative or controlling or defensive or whatever, you know, because everybody has their image of how they present themselves to the world. They think they can keep moving forward in denial of the truth, and other people are being open and authentic, and eventually it kind of illuminates to everyone who was being open and honest and authentic and loving and who just presented themselves as being that, but they weren't. So the change card, we have the Six of Pentacles and the Five of Swords because of the Devil. Some people, because the devil can represent our shadow nature, because some people align more with either their fear and ego or their materialistic worldly nature, they right now might be concerned about who's going to work with them in a relationship. They want to exchange resources with someone, possibly a Capricorn or someone who seems to have all these things of the world that they value. Because in the Five of Swords, they could want to win at all costs and they don't care who gets hurt. And they are kind of very materialistic, selfish, and greedy, you know? And, you know, the devil can be like the 7 deadly sins. You know, I'm lazy, I'm lustful, I'm greedy, I'm selfish, I'm, you know, all these things. I don't want to put work and effort to love my more fearful, insecure nature so that I can change. Because love is what heals, right? So, you know, it's not to reject the fact that we've got a worldly nature. We've all got a worldly nature. We all got some get kicked up and kind of want to take some immature, indulgent action in our life. We can all want to be stubborn and prideful and want things our way, you know. But in the Temperance card, we balance out the fact that we do want what we want in the world, but if we want to be proud of ourselves and we want to work together with others in foundations, we learn to temper our more egoic nature to be more balanced, and we take creative action to be more bold and brave and confident, to have some trust and faith and belief in others, and that we can work together and all those good things. And we love we offer love and compassion. You know, we don't belittle and berate ourselves for the fact that we were kind of got kicked up into our pride or ego or selfishness or whatever. You know, we accept that the fact that that is an element within us, and we balance out that element within us, you know, and we work cooperatively together within ourselves in the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles talks about balance in high vibe, which is Taurus energy. We put in work and effort to deal with our mental conflict about the things in the world that we want with our more loving, giving, intuitive nature. Because if we don't want to keep sabotaging ourselves and repeating patterns of the past, we have to be willing to change and get out of our ego and wanting everything our way. Other people who aren't wanting to put in the work and effort to balance out themselves are tipping into their shadow nature, and they want what they want. And they're kind of indulging in their ego nature. And we either empower ourselves or we look outside of ourselves to feel powerful and to get what we want. We either put the work and effort within ourselves to move forward in a balanced, just, fair, abundant, hopeful, believing nature, or we've kind of abandoned that aspect of self and we're aligned more with our fearful and egoic nature, and we're looking to people that we can exchange resources with to make us look like we're moving forward in a successful way because we're not doing the work within ourselves and loving ourselves and believing in ourselves. And some people want to exchange resources with other people who look very successful in the world because they want to look like a shining star in the world because the Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. Or they want to exchange resources with someone else who has fear and insecurities because they want to be the center of attention in their ego. In shadowy Aquarius energy can be everybody else puts aside their pride and ego, not me. They are to put work and effort into maintaining balance in this relationship, not me. I am the most important person in this relationship. So that would be really quite shadowy. Taurus energy, you'd have to decide. You know? Some people are either looking for people who have money and materialism and status and image, and they want to exchange financial resources with them and hugs and kisses with them because they have mental conflict about dealing with their own fears and insecurities to change. And then others of them are looking for people who are in their shadow energy, not loving themselves, not believing in themselves. It's like, perfect, let's get in a relationship. I'll be the center of attention, and you can think like I'm like God's gift who came into your life. You know? Instead of dealing with our regrets of the past, let's not deal with anything. Let's stay in our fear and insecurity and our defensiveness and just go see who we can manipulate in a relationship to indulge ourselves in without putting in the work and effort. So there you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy. Well, I guess we should look at what else is coming for the people in high vibe energy. People who dealt with people like this in our life or their own shadow nature, and they learned to align with love because they realized if they kept going down the route they were, that the things that, and people they were aligning with were stealing from them, and they want to change. What's coming up ahead for the high vibe people moving forward? Thought it felt like a card fell on the ground, but I guess not. Tell us about what's coming up for the high vibe people who are putting in work and effort to walk the talk. Hangman and the Empress card because of the King of Pentacles. Those people felt stuck also for a while. Whenever any of us are disappointed that some relationship dynamic in work or life didn't work out, we can either keep making decisions from that pain and heartbreak or sadness, or, and we'll go through a period of feeling stuck because we maybe thought someone or a workplace was going to be nurturing and loving and mature, and we thought we were going to give birth to something new with those people. But when we see that that's not the case, and they're hiding that they're maybe prideful and egotistical and had their own plan that they wanted to move forward with, where they hold back and don't open up, and they're kind of immature and prideful and maybe bossy and controlling and make bad decisions in a relationship and are unhealthy in a relationship or a workplace, we can feel stuck. But when we feel stuck, we take time to see life from different perspectives and see ourselves and the world around us from different perspectives, and we love ourselves and we believe in ourselves and we encourage ourselves and we offer love and compassion to the situation, and we learn the lessons we were meant to learn from that those people still got some issues to deal with that I've already dealt with, and they might want to repeat some patterns of the past that I've already been there, done that, and I don't want to repeat those patterns anymore. And we take the lesson that we've learned from that life experience and we give birth to new stable beginnings, and we take action in the world in a stable, grounded, loving, insightful manner to manifest our dreams into reality. If we still have to be in that friendship group or that workplace, we try to see things from everybody's perspective and from a place of love we take stable, grounded, constructive action within it to try to offer resources to other people to encourage them to free themselves from why they might be operating from ego or fear or defensiveness. And, we can only do that so long. And then there comes a point where our intuition is telling us it's time for us to give birth to something new. And we take action in the world to give birth to something new. We can't make people change. If people want to be kind of controlling and manipulative, or people want to be in a more transactional relationship, and people have mental conflict about putting in work and effort to free themselves from their own shadowy ways of being, peace, I'm moving on. But if they're willing to put in some work and effort to try to see things from a higher perspective, and if they're willing to put in work and effort to balance themselves out so that maybe they can work with people in a more just and fair manner to bring that dream into reality, that's also possible. And just listen to your intuition about what you believe people are doing in friendship groups, family dynamics, work groups. And your intuition, is trying to guide you to know when it is time for you to walk away and be bold and brave and confident in yourself, and keep staying in life-giving energy of love, and the divine will open up new doors for you. So there you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.